JT Show.
Welcome to another episode of the Smash JT Show, my weekly episodic adventure discussing divisive issues in the video game industry and beyond sometimes. It airs every Friday. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button, bell for notifications, give me that thumbs up, or if you're a Pokemon fan, hit that thumbs down because that's what Pokemon fans love to do. Let's just press start. For this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the Pokemon Sword and Shield release, and holy crap, how ridiculous some of the fans are handling this. This is another epic level of pettiness that we're going to right now with the review bombs that are coming from basically every direction on Metacritic, making me wonder if Metacritic should even have user reviews going forward in the first place, because we can't trust people to give an honest review of a game. Hell, Metacritic doesn't even require you to have the game owned for you to post a review, so it doesn't even matter anyways, but that's besides the point. We'll come back to that. What I wanted to talk about in this week's episode is more of a broad topic, and that is stemming from the Gamefreak situation in Pokemon, and if a game should be judged on the merits of its predecessors, what's come before it, what's been done in the series past, or if a game should be an island, if it should just be judged on its own merits, what it presents to the end user alone, because these are two completely different mindsets, and that's exactly where I see the problem coming in and converging here. So many angry Pokemon fans that are saying that Game Freak lied, they cheated, they stole, they absolutely cut corners to make this Pokemon game come out for the holiday season in time, instead of delaying it and doing these extra animations, instead of copying the supposed old animations from other Pokemon games and just bringing them into this version. They should have redone them all. Why? Like, that's where my problem with all of this lies. So many Pokemon fans are upset right now because they feel like this game could have been so much better. But Game Freak was just trying to get it out in time, and because of that, they half-assed it, and the game isn't as good as everybody expected it to be. Except for when you look at the actual professional reviews that I talked about in my previous episode, where for the most part, the critics were raving about how good this game was. The vast majority of professional outlets giving it above an 8 out of 10 review score, which by all accounts means it's a pretty decent game. But everybody argues that they are looking at this game on its own. They're not looking at the issues. They're not looking at the cut corners from what Game Freak did. They are strictly looking at this game for what it presents to the end user at the end of the day, and that's a problem. Why? Now, with this show being as unbiased as I can possibly make it, I like to give both sides of the story. And yes, I can kind of understand where these hardcore long-term Pokemon fans are coming from. They expect, if they're going to be paying $60 for a full-price, full-fledged, new release console title on the Nintendo Switch, that they expect it to be the best effort possible coming from Game Freak. And if it's anything short of that, then they feel like they have a right to be upset, that they need to voice their opinions, because if they do that, maybe Game Freak will listen to them and in the future not cut these corners. So I get that. And everybody does have a voice, and it's important to voice your opinions. But this is coming from people who have never played the game before, who have just heard rumors, heard leaks, seen leaks of it online, and formed an opinion based off of a few video clips, based off of some experience, seeing somebody play it, and just following the herd of sheep that just want to be angry at this game, instead of forming an opinion on their own based off of if the game, I don't know, it's good or not, which kind of should be ultimately the only thing that matters when it comes to a video game. Is it good? Is it fun? Do you like it? Okay. Why are you angry? This is what's frustrating about the Pokemon fan base right now. They just want to be mad. Half of them want Pokemon to remain exactly the same throughout every iteration of it, so that they can experience it all again, but know it and be familiar with the formula, so they don't get lost, confused, frustrated, and be able to relive those memories they had as a kid playing it and bring it into the new era. Then you have the other segment of the Pokemon fans that are saying, we want something different. We want you to change this up. We don't want the same old thing every single time. And when you give us that same thing, we want to lash out at you and be frustrated. This is exactly why Game Freak is in a position where they can't win. With Pokemon Sword and Shield and the research I've been doing on it, I feel like they did their best to try to find some sort of in-between between these two mindsets, which is kind of hard to do, to compromise something that says, I want it to be the same and I want it to be different. You can't really have both of those and be good with it. But with Pokemon Sword and Shield, it seems to be trying to make everybody happy. And when you do that, you can't make everybody happy, of course. So you're gonna have those fans that whine and moan and cry about why it's not their Pokemon, why Game Freak lied, why they cheated their way to the end. Which brings me back to my original question of this video. What do you want out of a video game? Do you want a company to move forward into a new generation, take chances, completely revolutionize the formula that you expect and know and love? Or do you want the same old damn thing? Because I feel like Game Freak did everything they could to make this the full, well-rounded, consoleized experience of a Pokemon, and Pokemon fans are literally digging, looking at the game's code, unraveling these mysteries of what Game Freak did to develop it, just to be angry about it, instead of looking at the game for what it is and enjoying it. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that that's how people should approach playing a game, but in this instance, I think it is utterly ridiculous that Pokemon fans are not only angry about Pokemon Sword and Shield without even playing it, but have now moved on to review bombing it on Metacritic. Like, yes, we all knew this was going to happen, but seeing it in action is just embarrassing for the gaming community at large. We need to do better. Hold ourselves to higher standards. Instead of review bombing this game, giving it a 0, a 1, a 2, a 3? Come on. Now, opinions are valid, but these are not opinions. These are targeted attacks going after Game Freak so that it gets a bad reputation out in the public. So that overall, people may not think it's as good as it really is, so that it sells less copies in their mind, hopefully, so that ultimately, Game Freak doesn't cut corners in the future, even though it's a good game. So, overall, this entire situation is beyond perplexing when people start to whine and cry and moan about something that is actually good, but because it's not exactly what they wanted out of a game, or because they believe a company is deceiving them, that is beyond ludicrous. The game is good. Play it. Stop being angry about it. Stop being mad at the company. Take a step back and enjoy it for what the video game presents to the end user. And who knows? Maybe you'll have a good time at the end of the day. Anyways, that's where I'm going to leave that topic. Be very interested to hear what you guys have to say about the Pokemon situation and the more broad question in general of, from a series that has a long and storied history, do you want that game to present a brand new experience to the end user? Or do you want it to build off of the past that it had? Yes, sometimes those can intersect, but oftentimes it's one or the other. Be very interested to hear where you stand on that issue. Now, moving on to the smashing video of the week, I gotta highlight my guy Studio Nicktendo with his newest video where he is actually singing on One Piece. We Are. This was absolutely epic.
Till someone proves it real. Through it all, through all the troubled time, through the heartache and through the pain, know that I will be there to stand by you, just like I know you'll stand by me.
I've already told him he's going to be the Smasher of the Month for December because holy crap, does he deserve more attention. All of these songs that he does, he records in his studio with his electric guitar and now vocals on some songs, blowing my mind. One of my favorites he did is the Luigi's Mansion theme. I have that on repeat during the day half the time because my kids love that so much. So keep up the great work, Nintendo. I am absolutely loving it. That's where I'm going to leave this week's episode. But as always, before I go, I want to say a special thank you to all the Patreons listed next to me here, helping support Smash JT on a monthly basis with their pledge. If you're interested in joining them, smash that Patreon button right there. And if you haven't already and you like what I'm doing here, smash the subscribe. And if you missed last week's episode, I'll put it right here somewhere. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.